Hi guys, this is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess, and I'm back with a quick channel message. So, listen, you guys know I just finished doing the stay in your lane, but I had a message regarding this spiritual chimerism. Maybe I should wait till like later on in the day, and I should come back and do this. Okay, let me see. All right, let's go ahead and go. Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully everyone can see me. So you guys know last I talked about this in a this came up in a quick channeled message regarding the concept of a spiritual chimera. Now, what is a chimera? Now, mythologically speaking, a chimera is a beast, an animal that has three different heads: the head of a lion, the head of a goat, and the head of a snake or a dragon. Okay, it's a mythological being that has various different DNAs and species. Okay. Now, in biology, there's something called a chimera. A chimera is an individual that has two separate types of DNA within one individual. Okay, so like they end up having health problems and stuff like that because the different types of DNA are in competition and they're sending haywire messages to the different organ systems to process this and release this enzyme and create that hormone, et cetera, et cetera. So now a spiritual chimera. A spiritual chimera is an individual who has tampered with their 12 strand DNA and they're basically their Akashic records by dipping and dabbling into different type of spiritual practices and techniques and ideologies and things like that. Now, some of you guys are like, well, the world is our oyster. We're supposed to explore and study and things like that. Of course, of course. However, the problem with this spiritual chimerism, it's like spiritual hood hopping, you see? So these karmics, they talk about God or Jesus Christ or Yeshua, then they go play with Baal or Malak. Then they talk about a Ma'at and things like that. Then they go play with different type of low satanic entities. Right? Or they talk about prayer and meditation, but then they're playing with dark satanic rituals or voodoo or low vibrational entities and things like that. This is like this spiritual chimerism, right? Spiritual hood hopping, spiritual set hopping. So now what's happening is these karmics have realized that they've gone into a zone of no return. It was 222 on the clock as I said that. They've gone into a zone of no return with this spiritual chimerism. Because now they've realized that they've created so many different allegiances to different cultures or different spiritual systems or religious ideologies, and they have to pay the piper on different ones. And some of these ones are even opposing. You know, some of these systems that they're even playing with are even opposing. So they're going into playing with Arabic type of fire magic type of entities, desert entities, right? Because Middle Eastern magic is very much different than some of the Caribbean root work, American hoodoo that we see. Very, very different, very different. They have a whole different set of elements and shit that they do with their spell work. And it's also very much different than what you would see in maybe China or ancient Korea or Japan, because they for sure play with spell work over there. But it's more mental. It's more mental, right? So these karmics have gone into all these different type of zones and things like that, right? So I give the example of going into the Arabic entities, but they're playing then with Judaism and the Kabbalah. Or they're trying to play with Christianity and the cross, you see? So they're even playing with, like, we know that these different religions, they're Abrahamic in nature. We all know that. But they're fighting and opposing each other because they don't understand that they have a common source. So even the different entities that even are within them, they're fighting and arguing to over power because it's a principality, you see? So this is what this spiritual chimerism, this karmic has become a part of many principalities, you see? Trying to go do into this or tamper into that by either trying to attack you or to obtain some type of power or fame or recognition or to achieve whatever means. They've tapped into spiritual chimerism. They've blown open their 12 strand DNA, and now they're getting energies and different type of entities running in and out of their DNA, in and out of their consciousness, because they've made too many allegiances and too many pacts. Now some of these demons and entities, they're at war within the karmic's consciousness, and they feel split and fragmented and at war with themselves because they're talking about Jesus over here, but then they're playing with Moloch and satanic entities and Baal over there. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, they're talking about they want to be Esther, they want to be Eve, etc., but then they're over there playing with Lilith. You see what I'm talking about? So now these karmics are in a position where they're in this spiritual chimerism and they have to pay the piper to all the different entities and deities. They don't care. And they want their payment. Some of these karmics too, because they tapped into certain people's bloodline or played with certain spell work, shit like that too. It's blown open their DNA, the reversals and the return to sender and the return evil and all that stuff. And the karma. Yeah. It was too heavy for them. It's blown open their DNA. Now this karmic is dealing with all types of stuff from past lives and current lives and even next lifetimes. So this is the thing here. It's like for a lot of these karmics, what they're showing me is their timelines are so unsettled. It's so unsettled. Whereas you can look into your Akashic records and you can see some of the things that are going to be going on happening. You won't see everything because some things are not supposed to be revealed. Yes. And that's better that they're not revealed. But these karmics, they can't see ahead of them. It's like basically, let's say, for instance, you know, when they say follow the yellow brick road in the Wizard of Oz, these karmics are seeing the yellow brick road and it's disappearing and shifting in front of them. It's turning from light to dark. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go because they've blown open their DNA. Yeah, they're a spiritual chimera now. But you wanted all power. You wanted all access. You wanted to play with these entities. Now these entities are at war within you. What now? These different ideologies they're opposing, they're at war within you. What now? You can't talk about God. You want to play with Jesus, but then you're playing with low vibrational satanic entities. Whose side are you on? Chasing two rabbits, you won't catch either one. That's why these karmics are going into spiritual sickness. Yeah, this spiritual chimerism, it's real. I see it all the time. These karmics are starting to have mental illness because they're playing with this entity over there and they're playing with that entity over there, and it's unsettling their behavior. They're more archons. They're becoming more susceptible to archon possession, entity attachments, entity possession because of the spiritual chimerism. They're getting sick. All kinds of stuff is happening to them because in their Akashic records now, they're scattered. They're a free agent, basically floating around. Not like a Time Lord. No. Not even. They don't even get that. Those karmics, they don't even get those benefits. Because remember, you have to sacrifice people, right? So, I mean, those will be the benefits for those who are going into sacrifice to become a Time Lord. These karmics don't even get that. They just get a bunch of confusion. Their Akashic records blown open and basically being a free radical. Elements, planets smashing around. Akashic records fucked up. The stuff that they had in their birth chart that was planned all up in the air now, but they're getting extra karma on whatever was planned. Yeah, they can't see the yellow brick road in front of them because they tapped into spiritual chimerism. They blew up in their Akashic records. They can't see the path that was laid out in front of them for this lifetime. Everything's up in the air now because they played and they don't know how to stop it. They can't. Some of these karmics that play with energy harvesting or sex magic and stuff like that, they're having psychosis and schizophrenia because they have different type of bloodlines and energies and ancestry all up in their fields, all up in their 12-strand DNA. Some karmic doesn't have keys to the streets. Didn't I tell you that if you study biology and technology, spirituality will make a whole lot more sense because they are all interconnected. At Stanford University, there's a degree that you can get, and it's literally the intersection between spirituality and philosophy, technology and biology. Yeah, exactly. It's called symbolic systems. Yep. At Stanford University, this is like one of the only programs, and they teach you all about it's all about the intersection between spirituality, technology, philosophy, and like neuroscience and stuff like that. And you want to know the type of people that be taking this type of class? You want to know the type of people that get this type of degree? People who go into AI, people who are going into artificial intelligence, how to turn computers into human beings. This is what I'm trying to get to you guys. These karmics have literally kind of turned themselves into robots spiritually by the shit that they've been playing with. It's kind of like autopilot now. They have no control over their own spiritual vessel, over their own spiritual path, because they went into that chimerism and blew open their 12-strand DNA. You see?